that he is not the leader and he has nothing to do with the power, yet in the same breath, in his angry speech where he's actually shouting at the Libyan people and patronizing way, is delegating his son. On what grounds? Right. Now, what I can say is I
have to stop you there, Sam. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the time.
Stay with us here on AlJazeera. Dareen will be here very shortly to keep us rolling through what's happening in Libya.
As the clouds roll in across the Mediterranean, you'll still find it easy to drift away.
Hello, the weather's looking pretty mobile across the United States at the moment. A little bit of everything here, actually. We've got this cloud making its way out into the Atlantic. Some very wintry weather now in the process of clearing away from New England, eastern parts of Canada. Follow this weather system through. That's a cold front, quite a marked boundary as well. We're looking at temperatures on Wednesday in DC of only 4 Celsius. Similar values there for New York and for Chicago. Further south, well, 17 there for Atlanta. Still some warmth down into that southeastern quarter then, but the wintry weather will continue through the plains, through the prairies, western parts of Canada, Pacific Northwest, seeing some very wintry weather once again. It's brightening up for California, temperatures here at around 12, 13, maybe 14 degrees Celsius. So not brilliant, but at least it is dry and bright. Dry and bright too across a good part of the West Indies. Could see some heavy showers, mind you, just around Guyana, pushing up into Trinidad and Tobago, maybe into Grenada. I think for Barbados and for St Vincent should stay largely dry. As you can see, plenty of warm sunshine now. Kingston with a top temperature of around 29 Celsius. Got some pleasant sunshine too into Central Europe, but it's of a crisp nature. -5 the top temperature here in Berlin. So wintry weather around, certainly over towards the east. Milder weather coming into the west. And as this mild weather hits the cold air, it turns to snow.
Qatar Airways, world's 5-star airline.
All sides, all views, all ways. Al Jazeera.
Can you imagine what 900 trillion cubic feet of gas looks like? Often 10,000 feet below the surface. Now try and imagine the technology needed to extract it. Then distributing that gas to a far-off and energy-hungry world. We believe in pushing technology to its limits. Now try and imagine a world without Qatar gas.
East Timor's government has declared it's time for foreign forces to leave the country. But with a frail infrastructure, is this nation prepared to face a future without international support? 101 East at this time on Al Jazeera.
In his first major speech since the unrest began, a defiant Muammar Gaddafi calls on his supporters to reclaim the streets.
I will not leave the country, and I will die as a martyr at the end.
Welcome to the NewsHour. I'm Dareen Abu Gaida from Al Jazeera News Centers in Doha, Washington and London with live and continuing coverage of Libya's uprising. On the streets of Tripoli, those calling for Muammar Gaddafi to go are met with lethal force.
I'm Nick Clark in Washington. We'll have reaction from the Americas.
This bloodshed is completely unacceptable.
The U.S. Secretary of State condemns the violence in Libya, but will the U.S. take further action?
Universal rights of their own people.
And I'm Felicity Barr in London with the developments from Europe, including everything's all right. Gaddafi telephones the Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi to reassure him about the situation in Libya.
21 GMT, 11 p.m. in Libya, where there's been angry reaction to Muammar Gaddafi's first speech since his country's crisis began. As he spoke for 75 minutes, shoes were thrown at the screens, the colonel confirming he isn't going to stand down. And despite images of violence shown across the world, Colonel Gaddafi has apparently told Italy's Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi that everything inside the country is fine. In his address on state television, he made it perfectly clear that he remains defiant.
Muammar Gaddafi is not the president. He is a leader of a revolution. He has nothing to lose. Revolution means always sacrifice until the end of life. This is my country, the country of my great-grandfathers. We planted and we watered it with our grandfather's blood. We deserve Libya from those rats and agents. Who are these agents who are being paid by security vessels? God curse them, damn them. I will not leave the country, and I will die as a martyr at the end. Those who commit crime against the army, anybody who shall be handed the death sentence, who works for a foreign country that undermines the defense of the country, we are not blame the youth. It's when they are caught and prosecuted, they will be begging for mercy, and this time we will not be so merciful. We will not be forgiving. I salute you, and you put before the world the real pictures of the Libyan people, that you've gone out. You give the truth, which being that the agents and cowardice trying to distort, to cover it, to give a wrong picture of you before the world. Some Arab medias depict you as bad people.
تحدينا أمريكا في هذا المكان.
We challenge America with its mighty power. We challenge even the superpower in the world, and we became victory. Here they put their heads down. Libya even kissed the grave of the sheikh of all martyrs, Omar al-Mukhtar. It's not the victory for the cities of Libya, but the victory for Libyan people. I don't blame them, these youths. They are young people, 16, 17, 18. They are emulating what's happening in Tunisia. And they imitating what's happening in some cities, like they had about something a raid on a court building. They say we shall do it in our city, but there is a group that is, I feel they are sick, in a group giving money and these tablets, elimination tablets, to these young people, very young people, pushing them towards this side war.
Well, that's what Muammar Gaddafi said in his speech, a flavor of what he said, but we're still getting reports of a deadly force being used against